Thank you everyone for coming to our Founders Dinner. I'm going to pass it on to Chris Lee, our former Associate Principal for many years, to make a toast to someone that's really special to us. Thank you. Why don't I just pass it over and say nothing else. So Chris, please welcome Chris.
Thank you. So tonight we are celebrating someone who truly embodies the Johannean spirit, Dr. Hsu, for most of us. She is, I think many of you know, one of the staunchest supporters of St. John's College over many years. And for those who don't know a little bit of her story, Dr. Hsu was born in Shanghai. She is what we call a lifetime Johannean because she attended St. Mary's Hall, which is the girls' school that was attached to the St. John's University in Shanghai. And from a very early age, she wanted to serve the poor. She wanted to open hospitals in the countryside. And so she enrolled after she graduated at the St. John's University Medical School and lived through a very tumultuous time in her childhood. By the time she graduated, St. John's Medical School became the Shanghai Second Medical College, which is now part of Shanghai Jiaotong University, still a very well-known medical college in China. And she trained as a radiologist, but this was during one of the most tumultuous times in modern Chinese history. And her husband, the late Dr. Alex Yu, was also a doctor, also a Johannean. In 1962, he was able to leave Shanghai for Hong Kong, but it took 5 very difficult years for Dr. Hsu to be able to join him with their son. And so endured extraordinary obstacles during that difficult time period. But after relocating to Hong Kong, Dr. Hsu began a second career, I would say, as a distinguished researcher in cytopathology at Hong Kong University. And there she became a world-renowned expert in her field. She trained students who practice around Asia, around the world. She received many honors for her career. And also, I would say, I should also say, as a woman doctor, was also incredibly path-breaking in Hong Kong during this time period too. And among many honors, she was appointed to the Royal College of Pathologists. So after she and her husband retired, they relocated to Vancouver and they began a third career, I would say, as leaders of the global Johannean family. And so for many years, Dr. Hsu was the president of the Vancouver chapter of the Johannean Alumni Association. In that context, she traveled around the world connecting with other Johanneans. I think she always has a special place in her heart for what she calls the St. Mary's girls, right? The girls who went through St. Mary's Hall, which was the school that went into St. John's University. And luckily for us, she has given so much time over many years to St. John's College, right? So whether it's at dim sum in Richmond or taking our students to Johannean World events in Shanghai or Beijing or Taipei, she has shown so much care for our students over many years. I think she's adopted so many of our students over many years. So you'll hear many people refer to her as Auntie Hsu, as Xia Yu, because she became like a family away from home for many of our residents. So I want to mention this because really I think if St. John's College plays any role in keeping the memory and the traditions and the spirit of St. John's University alive, it will be because of Dr. Hsu's efforts. And she made this all possible. And so we're just so lucky to honor her. If any of you get to meet her, and I hope many of you will tonight, or hopefully at some point, you will find she's warm-hearted, she's witty, she's good-humored, and I'll just say she with a touch of impatience, maybe, just to show that she will not accept any nonsense, right? But the more you get to know her, as I've been privileged to do, you will find somebody of deep wisdom, somebody of deep generosity, deep kindness, and fierce determination. And this is all a result of an extraordinary life, and an extraordinary career. So please join me in raising the glass in honor of our special guest tonight, Dr. Hsu. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
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 Thank you. Thank you for all the good.
Thank you, Chris. And I want to thank Chris Lee of, you can tell he's in the English department because he gives good speeches, which is why we chose him to give the speech honoring Dr. Hsu. So I want to welcome you all to the Founders Dinner. This is our most special dinner, obviously, every year because it is in honor of those who created this college so that we could all enjoy being here. But we are going to move now over to the main dining hall. So feel free to bring your drinks, yourselves and find a seat, and then we will pick up the program on the other side. But thanks again to Chris Lee, but again, health, good health, and a long, long life to Dr. Hsu.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So, thanks a lot. We'll move over. Wanted to welcome everyone over to this side, to the dining hall, where most of our activities here at St. John's take place. First, actually, I'm assuming all of you know that I'm Henry Yu, the principal of St. John's, but if you don't, then I'm Henry Yu, the principal of St. John's. Welcome to our founders dinner. I wanted to say that this is a really special night, and I'll explain why, not just because it's in honor of our founders, but because the college is undergoing many changes. And so it really is a time to also reflect on who we have been over the last 25 plus years. And so this dinner, I hope, is an occasion for all of us to really understand, the history of St. John's University and St. John's College and our place here. And I think we always begin at UBC, but at St. John's College as well, by acknowledging where we are and whose territory we're on. It's important to us to acknowledge that we are guests here, just as many people who have come to St. John's as residents have come all around the world to find this home away from home. It's another way of saying that we are also on the territory of Musqueam, the Hunkaminam speaking peoples here at the mouth of the river. It's been a special privilege to have had a personal relationship with Gina and Larry Grant over the years. It's been something that's incredibly meaningful in terms of having a relationship with someone who has been so generous in sharing by being here. Both of them have come. I can't remember a dinner that we've had that they weren't here. They've changed their schedules sometimes in order to be here. And it's been a privilege to have us open dinners with some words from Elder Grant. So I'm going to ask Larry to do something that he's been doing so nicely and generously for us for over a decade, to come up and share a few words.
Thank you, Henry. CM to CIA, Tolatin to Philip of Namet to Na, Fernand, for to St. John College, to need UBC, to need to Tomo Christmas them. Law Kusina, Johanna, Givalana, was Helixto, to Quina, Natomo, Kushwa to South Tomo Christmas them. Is the Equina, Johanna, Givalana, that is something need to follow the Helixto, the Mukalap, Kagap to Austina Stall, Kaka, to CM, but St. John's College, to Nakunan. The I finish following consequence Nala, Mukalap, for to Papito, to CM, but St. John's College. I step LSM, he looks tall. My name's Larry Grant. I'm a Musqueam elder in residence at House of Learning, adjunct professor in the First Nations and Endangered Languages in the Musqueam language program. And it's my pleasure to be here to say some words for Musqueam, the community that I come from, that I belong to. And it's something to see how everyone is here to honor the founders of this college the St. John's College, and it's something that I always cherish, have come to cherish, being here in amongst this international graduate college and residents from all over the world. It's really, really a wonderful thing for someone of my heritage to see the mixture of people that are here, and it's really, really enlightening. Our people have been here on this area for several thousand years before the arrival of Captain Narvaez of the Spaniards and Captain George Vancouver of the English. Over 2,500 years before, we are the people that have had a fortified site here below where a museum of anthropology is, called Colacan, and that's where our warriors and their families lived prior to contact. And we are the people that have always been on the river front, at the mouth of the river, protecting the resources of our lands and also protecting against invaders. But it's been quite a change now in the last couple of 100 years here. So it's wonderful to see that and to enjoy this evening. So I tep ewa siam na siya Colette Contitia Tola to swallow the cape for eat to not grant. I tep ewa siam. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks again to Larry for again welcoming us, but also reminding us, our obligations, relationships. I want you to reflect tonight, if nothing else, you remember about relationships, your relationships with each other that you form here, how relationships have to develop. They change over time. They go through rocky parts, but a relationship is only something that makes sense over time. And so the relationship with, Larry and Gina has been now, I think it's about 15 years for me. And so I really appreciate that relationship personally, but also for the college and for all the residents who have been here, who have learned from both Larry and Gina through the years. So thank you to both of you. There's some other relationships I want to acknowledge. We have special guests here because they have had a relationship with residents in the college, or they themselves had a relationship with either St. John's University in Shanghai or here St. John's College. So Dr. Hsu, who Chris so eloquently introduced, again, for over now 14 years, Dr. Hsu has been a friend and a mentor and paid for lunches quietly for our residents. Unbeknownst to many of our residents, she was picking up the tab when our students went for dim sum. And so that's a relationship, one where someone gives to someone else, and often in ways that are unacknowledged or not even known. So we appreciate Dr. Hsu for being here. Stanley Kwok. So Stanley is another Johannean, original Johannean, old school, old guard, OG Johannean from St. John's University of Shanghai. So Stanley's changed the city of Vancouver. Many of you may not know that those beautiful towers, glass towers downtown, those were the brainchild of Stanley Kwok when he helped build much of what Expo 86 lands turned into the Concord Pacific lands. And so Stanley Kwok is another one of our founders. So we thank Stanley for being here. Lucille Hung, who hopefully is going to show up a little later, is another one of the original Johanneans that's joining us, along with her daughter Vera Kwong and son-in-law David Kwong. Alex Peng is a graduate of St. John's University, Taiwan. So another university that was created by the original St. John's University Johanneans. Alex has joined us again every month, during our monthly dim sums for as long as I can remember. So again, over 14 years I've known. So thanks to Alex and his wife Julia for joining us tonight. Cheryl Hu. Cheryl is one of our own OGs. She was an original St. John's College alumna. I won't out her with the year, but let's just say it was in those first few years of our existence. And so we welcome our own Johannean alumni, Cheryl Hu. Let's see, we have some other alumni here that I want to make sure that we acknowledge. Right near Cheryl is Jonathan Liu, who is a graduate here and also a descendant of the original Johannean from St. John's University. And Jonathan did his degree here in finance, I believe, and has generously donated to the college and to funds to help students because he appreciated his time here and the support he gained just from living here, and he wanted to pay that forward to you. And so we thank Jonathan for being a donor as well as supporting the Johannean windows. And so when you see those beautiful stickers that tell the story of our history from Shanghai to Vancouver, that's actually care of Jonathan. So we thank you for your generosity, Jonathan, for supporting our students. I want to point out some of our other alumni. We have Param Hamidi over here, wave. Next to Param, we have Tala Bazaza. Some of you may know that she is the sister of one of our current residents, and so you may see her around. I already introduced Chris Lee, but I would again thank Chris Lee and Michelle Tan. Michelle was a former resident here and a great citizen as well, and now teaches in the Faculty of Education. As I said, Chris teaches in English, and they've both been friends and supporters of the college during their whole time and after Michelle left as alumni. So thank you for being here. Ian Grigg, right here, is tied to our other college at UBC, Green College. She's the spouse of Emma Cunliffe and courageously is here without his spouse. So, I can hardly show up anywhere without my wife. If she's not there, then I'm scared and anxious. But Ian, I appreciate you joining us tonight. Jordan Wilson, who is one of our scholars in residence, so we thank Jordan. Jordan is completing his dissertation, we hope. We're not going to ask him how his dissertation is going because that's a good way to make someone anxious. But we're really actually glad and thankful that we have his presence here again, and a relative of the Grants, and so a relationship that goes deeper even than scholarly. So thank you, Jordan, for gracing us with your presence. Again, Jean and Larry repeat and say how happy we're here, or that we are that you're here. We have Richard Zhou, who is here as a guest, also a descendant of an original Johannean, I believe. So you'll have to share with us the story of your family lineage back to the original St. John's University of Shanghai. Last but not least, my wife, Mizita, who is also a graduate of UBC and did her PhD here. So thank you for joining us. A big thanks to all the staff for, again, a warm welcome just for decorating this room so beautifully, for arranging everything tonight. So to our staff. And while he's here, to our amazing chef, Clarence Tay, Chef Tay. So Chef's very humble about himself. Many of you may not know he was a 5-star hotel chef in Singapore before he came to Canada. So that's why he really does know what he's doing. And you'll see that tonight in the food that you'll get to enjoy. Just want to say a few words more before we move on to dinner.
we're honoring Dr. Hsu because she's leaving Vancouver in the near future. And so we have gotten so used to having Dr. Hsu here over the last 15 years that it really is a huge blow to us that she's actually going to join her son in Toronto. And so soon we will not have her presence with us. But I wanted to sort of say what that has meant to us. When I first started here as principal, I knew a few Johanneans. Stanley was one, and so we were really fortunate to have a relationship with a few people who had graduated from the original St. John's. But I remember there was one of my colleagues from the United States, Helen Zia, who had been writing a book about the refugees who had left Shanghai earlier in its history, and she had interviewed many of the Johanneans. And when she said, "Well, you've talked to Sophia Chih Hsu," and I said, "Sophia, I don't." And so I actually did not really know the Johanneans because the key person in the relationship has been Dr. Hsu. It's Dr. Hsu who introduced us to all of the other founders who lived in Vancouver, who brought us each month to the dim sum that she arranged each month. And it's been a lesson to us, I think all, that it takes that extra bit of work to get people together. Okay? I remember in 2012, after a year of talking about what is the college really, what's at the essence of it, that's when the world around our table became our motto. Because it was the world that was created around our table by you every night, over dinner, every breakfast, every time you got together over food, that's who we are. But it really was in reflecting on Dr. Hsu and that kind of quiet work of organizing gatherings, of getting people together over food, of ordering that food and making sure it's the best that that restaurant can offer, or making food when she's invited us into her home, that's bringing people together to make the world better. And that's become our mission. That it's one thing just to get together to party or to have fun or to celebrate, but to get together in a purposeful, intentional way, to get together in order to cheer someone up because one of you is facing some adversity or some challenges, or to get together because you want to celebrate someone passing a milestone, passing their comps, finishing their PhD. Or maybe you just want to get together because you want to introduce two people that you think should meet each other because they'll have mutual interests. Or getting together because you see a problem in the world, a challenge that needs some bright minds and some passionate people to get together to face and to maybe overcome. Bringing people together to make that little world around the table better, so that people leave feeling better, feeling that they can take on whatever challenges come that next day. That is a gift. And that's a gift that Dr. Hsu has given us over the years that we will miss. That's a gift that you can give to each other as part of this community, as residents. When you see someone who could use a little lift, that's a gift that keeps giving. Because if you can give that gift freely, that generosity of spirit, that's the Johannean spirit that's been gifted to us by our founders. Okay? That idea that you can help someone in need, that you can see that someone's in need and not just keep walking, but to pause and to do something just because, not because you owe that person. Maybe you are in a relationship with that person and they've done something for you before and you are doing something for them, like birthday gifts, right? Those are the kind of reciprocal relationships through time that make this place a special place. And that's why in honoring our founders, in honoring Dr. Hsu, even as she is leaving us soon, we're also reflecting on what it is that will go away when she goes away. And so we'll have to step up. So one of the things is that even though for 15 years plus, those Johannean dim sums has been something for our residents to go and meet our founders, we're going to pay that forward. And so we would like to begin to have our own tradition of our own alumni meeting every month for dim sum. If you don't like dim sum, then you can pick something else. But you're already alumni just because you're living here, because you're already going to go out into the world after you're here. And so getting together that once a month, we'll start arranging it because that's our way of honoring our founders as well. That even though for 15 plus years, it was with them that we had a monthly luncheon, in getting together with each other, it's our way of carrying on their spirit and honoring them. And so I encourage you not to wait for us to organize those regular meetings, but to begin to think of yourself and those you know here and those you care about as being in relationship with each other through time, through your time here, but also through the time to come after you've left here, when you're gone back to different parts of the world. Right? We have social media. We have an easy way of staying in touch. So stay in touch. Have those regular meals together to remind you of having a meal here together. We're going to play a little bit of a tribute now to Dr. Hsu. We've had actually a string of our residents be Johannean ambassadors to our founders. It's something that without the dim sum, with Dr. Hsu over in Toronto, it may be more difficult to do. But ironically enough, two of our Johannean ambassadors live in Toronto. And so Chelsea Gao and Jane Wong will continue to be taken care of and take care of, we hope, Dr. Hsu, even as she goes to Toronto. So train your attention over to the TV.
Hello, Dr. Hsu and SJC's greetings from Toronto. My name is Jane. I was the Johannean ambassador from 2017 to 2018. I studied at UBC from 2014 to 2016 for my master's degree in political science, and I stayed at St. John's College and had the pleasure of knowing Dr. Hsu and later worked more closely with Dr. Hsu on creating the Johannean history and legacy at St. John's College for residents as well as for alumni. One thing I want to share with all of you is that I learned the most from Dr. Hsu is that her dedication to the support for the new generations of Johanneans, and her spirit of never stop learning and also passing on the wisdom to the next generations. So I'm glad that St. John's is doing this event honoring Dr. Hsu, and I look forward to seeing Dr. Hsu in Toronto. Hope you have a great night.
Hi, Dr. Hsu. Thank you for being such an inspiration to all of us by being who you are. You are just an amazing person. You're so strong and so brave and have been through so much in life and still have so much positivity that each one of us can learn from. Although it's sad that you're leaving Vancouver, but I am privately very, very happy because I will be closer to you in Toronto, and don't you worry, we will take you to dim sum as much as you want. So hope you have a safe journey, have a safe trip. Hope you will have a good time saying farewell to a lot of the friends in Vancouver, but looking forward to seeing you in Toronto, and it's a new chapter in life. So
Hello, Dr. Su. This is Xiao Nai Go.么么哒. I'm sure Henry has already told the college and the residents about what the love and the devotion and the generosity you have showed to the college and our residents every year. So I don't want to repeat that. I will just express my own personal gratitude to you for all of that. And especially during the Johannean dim sum, I remember that you were always so eager to meet our new residents and get to know them, right? You take out your little notebook to jot down their names, where they are from, and so on. So that's always nice to see. And I'm very grateful, of course, for the chance to get to hear about the stories of yourself, of Dr. Alex Yu, and of course the other Johanneans, and especially the stories about the adversity and the challenges that you face in your youth. And then from you all, I learned the importance of basically, to keep smiling, to remain kind, to remain compassionate, in spite of the difficulties that we face in life. Yeah. 所以我很感激能够从你们当中学会了这个不屈不挠的精神，就是不管有多么多坎坷，多么多艰难的事情，都要继续的笑得自然，活得潇洒。我都希望你回到多伦多，能在家人的陪伴下，能够继续的青春美丽，继续的笑，继续的玩，继续的开心。你的100年大寿，记得喊我哦，么么哒。
I greatly admire Dr. Hsu for her dedication and selflessness in both her medical career and her efforts to establish St. John's College, which has now become a big family for all of us. I greatly grateful to be a part of this community. From Dr. Hsu, I have learned the importance of having a global perspective and to make some positive impact on the society as a whole. As a PhD student, I aspire to contribute not only in my specific area, but also to make a positive difference in the world.
Hello, Dr. Shi. I heard you're going to move to Toronto. I wish you all the best with the move. Just want to let you know that over the years, I've really admired you for the amount of dedication you have for things you believe in, your passion for the work, and your commitment to facilitate a really strong community among the Johanneans. Yeah, I would really love to grow old like you. You know, you are like my superwoman almost. And I will always think of you fondly as a strong, independent, and very funny and humorous elder that I've had the privilege to get to know during my time in St. John's. All the best. With love. Bye. What do I admire most about Dr. Hsu? Well, honestly, everything. She is hands down the most amazing and sharp person I've ever met, not even one of. And she is the glue that holds the St. John's community together, connecting people across generations. And what really amazes me is her dedicated and wholehearted approach to everything she does, not just in her professional life, where she's accomplished so much. And it's in every aspect of her life, whether it's planning an event or caring for others. And one thing that really amazes me is she really cares for people around her, and she takes notes about everyone's details, like their preferences, their information, and their stories. And it really makes you feel genuinely seen and valued. I've also had the privilege of helping her organize the Johannean lunch. And every single time she's handled everything so well, and down to even just planning the menu and arranging seats. And speaking of food, I've also been lucky enough to taste her cooking. She is an amazing chef too. An important lesson I've learned from Dr. Hsu is how to live authentically and wholeheartedly. She's shown me what it means to take your work seriously, pay attention to each detail, and generally care about the people around you. Her dedication to her work,
her relationships and the smallest things has been such an inspiration. I would say she is like a role model for me myself. Dr. Hsu, thank you for being such an inspiration and irreplaceable person for our community and for me personally. I wish you all well in your life in Toronto, and I will come visit you very soon.
Dr. Hsu, just want to thank you for all the things you've done for St. John's College and also for building the community for across many generations. I'm sorry I can't be at the Founders Dinner tonight. I'm graduating with my PhD from UBC, and I'm just really proud that I got a chance to get to know you and Dr. Yu and many of the Johanneans who have taught me a lot of life lessons and also shared wonderful meals together. So I just want to wish you all the best, and I hope to see you again in Toronto not too in the distant future.
Thanks to Jenny for using one of those apps to put that together, and to all those who shared with that. So before dinner, I just want to say that we're going to give some gifts. One of the gifts we're going to give you is mini dim sum figures. So we're going to take some photos with you, and then to the other Johanneans, we also have some gifts, including a sketch. You'll see the sketches there of the college. As we all know, in 3 years, this building will be no more, and we're going to be expanding and moving into a new, larger complex, and St. John's will be growing. And it is sad, for I know many of us, my kids grew up here. I spent the last 15 years of my life living in this community. It'll be sad to lose the building, but the building is not St. John's. The building is not the Johannean spirit. That is in all of you. We will be bringing the boats and the flags and the things that we hope will also be symbolic of the spirit of this place. Even without the walls, we will still have the things that hang on the walls or hang from the ceiling. And one of those things will be that table over there, the ones with all your photos. You may not know that that is actually a gift of Dr. Hsu and Dr. Yu, her husband. It was the table around which, for decades, their friends gathered. The other Johanneans who visited them, that when we visited, this was one of the tables that we ate around. And so it's a personal symbol, in some sense, of everything you've heard tonight about who Dr. Hsu is and has been to us. That table that your photos are on is the world around our table. It is a symbol, both personally, of how she's entertained people in her home, how she's brought people together to make their lives better, her life better, all our lives better. And so with that, and I'm going to invite them while we get food. And so we're going to start with these 3 tables, but we're going to give the gifts and take some photos. And again, gifts are in some sense a symbol of relationships. Yeah, don't get up yet. The staff will come by, Clarence's staff will come by and ask you to get up to go get food. We'll take some photos here. Feel free to talk and converse and to enact and embody that world around our table tonight. So thank you for all your attention and for being St. John's College.